government agency tasked with Youth Matters, the National Youth Development Agency, launched the Youth Month program in Soweto on Monday. However, the youth agency has been accused of being invisible and not reaching out to all stakeholders as expected. Unemployment, drug abuse and other social ills continue to be a problem among the youth. Now, here to tell us about what government is doing to tackle these challenges amongst the youth is the NYDA Spokesperson Siyabonga Magadla. Siyabonga, good morning and welcome to AM News.
A very good morning to you, Elvis, and thank you for having us.
First, before we get to anywhere else, let's start off with the program that you've launched, the Youth Month program. Tell us a little bit more about it and some of the things that you'll be doing for this month.
As you would know, that on Monday we launched this year's Youth Month program. The launch took place in Soweto at the Hector Peterson Memorial. It was launched by Minister of Arts and Culture, Minister Nathi Mthethwa, who was accompanied by Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Bhuti Manamela, together with Yeshen Pillay, who is the Executive Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency. We launched this year's Youth Month program under the theme, Youth Moving South Africa Forward. And the theme really is a call to action to young people that as much as we commemorate the 38th anniversary of the Soweto uprisings, we must be able to look at opportunities that are there or that are available currently for young people to take advantage of, such that similarly to what the youth of 1976 did, they are then able to take the baton and carry forward and take South Africa forward. Now,
the program that you started in Soweto, the youth tour, how did it go? Did you start it off already? That was Monday.
My history tour is one of a number of activities that we're doing this Youth Month. It's not the first time we'll be doing it. We are, in fact, have been doing it for the past 3 years. It's a program that focuses on learners in high schools. We draw learners from a number of provinces. For instance, this year, we're drawing learners from Gauteng, we're drawing learners from the Free State, we're also drawing learners from Mpumalanga to come to Soweto to get a feel of the historical or the monumental sites where the major activities of June 16 took place. It's about really educating young people about the history of the country, where we come from. But importantly, for them to have a discussion based on the information that they've received in terms of how, as young people today, do we then carry forward with our own challenges. Because the reality is that as much as government will be able to create an environment wherein we must take up opportunities, we must be able to be ready and willing as young people to take up those opportunities.
Teaching them history is a very good thing to start off with, but there's other social ills and concerns that are plaguing the youth, drugs, abuse and that sort of thing. What are you as an organization, as the NYDA doing to address these issues?
I think one of the things that we always try and emphasize to all the stakeholders, even young people themselves, is that youth development is not June month. June month is just a specific date in the calendar of the country wherein we zoom in terms of tracking progress to look how far we've come, but how is it that we need to go forward. Specifically, if I may speak to the NYDA, we've got a number of programs that we've put in place. We've got programs that speak to issues of education, for instance. We have a Solomon Mahlangu, a scholarship fund, which is a bursary fund that seeks to assist young people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds, who are performing very well in school, but unable to access institutions of higher learning. It's a 20 million fund. We've supported over 200 young people this year alone for them to go to institutions of higher learning. In terms of economic participation, last year, you would remember, we launched what we call the NYDA grant program. It's a grant program which starts from 1,000 to 100,000 rands to assist young people to either start up their own businesses or to expand their existing enterprises. And we're very happy that we're beginning to see good results from all those programs. These are just two of the many programs that we have. If I may say that on Monday, we had 2 beneficiaries who spoke at the launch of the Youth Month program itself. And one of them is a young person from Orange Farm who got a grant last year of 100,000 rand to start a cooperative. He was telling us on Monday that they are today employing 20 young people, and they've since received about 950,000 from social development. So we're saying if we can duplicate all these initiatives across the country, indeed we'll be able to deal with issues of unemployment.
Now, what do you say to those critics that says that the NYDA is invisible and that you're not doing enough, and accusing you of, especially rural communities, that you're avoiding those and that you're looking after the urban youth as such?
I must be honest, I have not had those concerns in a while now. I do acknowledge that when the NYDA started, or when it was established in 2009, a few years into our establishment, there were those concerns that were not reaching enough to rural areas. But ever since then, we've increased our presence, particularly in rural areas, through partnerships that we've had with municipalities. We've got local youth offices in many local municipalities across the country, because we also understand the plight of young people in those rural areas. And we know that local municipalities are at the cold face of service delivery, which is where we then located ourselves, over and above the 14 offices that we have across the 9 provinces in the country. So we're reaching out.
Last year, the government introduced the Anti-Substance National Plan of Action. How effective is it in bringing down the utilization of some of these substances and abuse by young people? Do you know?
I think the issue of substance abuse and drug abuse, it's a national scourge. I don't think we must underplay that. It's a challenge that continues to confront young people. But it requires a collective effort from all stakeholders, not only government. A private sector must come on board. Young people themselves must be able to come on board. We've had a number of programs as the NYDA, together with the former Deputy Minister, Obed Babela, at the time, wherein we would go to provinces like the Northern Cape, the Western Cape, where issues of drugs are indeed a serious challenge. But even before we can claim achievements in that area, I think we need to deal with issues of youth unemployment, as well as youth being unable to access economic opportunities, which is what we're working on, and we're succeeding with that in that regard.
Through that, you will empower them.
We will be able to get young people to be active in the economy, to be participants in the employment of the country. And because some of the challenges of drugs and so on is because young people are just sitting idle in townships, not having any activities. When we begin to engage them in meaningful programs, we are confident that they'll be able to focus.
Siyabonga, thank you so much for your time and joining us in studio here.
Thank you very much, Elvis.
That was the NYDA spokesperson, Siyabonga Magadla, joining us here in studio. Now that's some of your news for now. Still ahead, former Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is the new